Good morning and welcome to my kitchen. It is that time of day once again. Saturday mornings means time to cook for me. Now I've got two beautiful dishes for you today. Looking forward to cooking them. First one is going to be a pasta dish, but actually there's kind of two parts to it. I'm going to show you how to make an interpretation of Nduja. Now Nduja is a soft cured salami from Calabria. Very spicy. Not that easy to get hold of, certainly in the UK. I mean, you can get it in some delis and things like that. But I thought I'd show you how to make it out of some chorizo. Okay, so not authentic, but inspired by Nduja, and really practical and easy to make. It's delicious spread onto bread. It's amazing on like pizza bases, stirred through pasta. But what I thought I'd show you how to do is to cook it with orzo. You had orzo before? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's like grains of pasta. So it looks a little bit like rice or barley, okay? So it is an alternative to rice. And you're starting to get it in the supermarkets quite a lot now, actually. So we actually started using this stuff when the kids were little and just sort of moving on to their first pasta because it's like small pieces. And it's absolutely delicious. Let me show you what it looks like before we put it in the pan. So can you see that, Carlos? Yeah, so they're like little grains. They look a bit like rice. They don't take long to cook, so they are a great one for the store cupboard. Okay, so let's get the pan of water over here. So I've got a pan of salted boiling water. Really important. Every time I cook pasta here on the show, I will always tell you salted boiling water. As salty as seawater, okay? And in terms of portions, I tend to do maybe 2 per portion, okay? So let's do that many there. If you want the exact recipe, scan the QR code along the bottom and it will take you to masterclass.co website. Now, Masterclass are my sponsors and they help me make this show every week for you guys to watch. So if you are interested in any of the equipment that you see, pop over to masterclass.co, have a look at that, and if you wanted to buy it, their online shop is cookserveandenjoy.com. You can get everything there. You can see it all. Okay, so while the pasta cooks, we're going to make our Nduja, and we're also going to cook off some peppers, some garlic, just to add to the whole thing, just to give it a nice break, okay? So I've got these nice little peppers here. So they're like little raw eating peppers. And then I've got some chilli, some garlic, and some parsley, okay? And we have got our salami, and I've also got some olives to go in there as well. So let's get a little drizzle of olive oil in the pan. And then I'm going to take 1 clove of garlic, and I'm just going to crack it like this. And we're just going to add that into the pan, okay? Because we're going to have garlic in our Nduja as well, you see. So we don't need loads. But let's just cut these peppers in half. And we'll just pop these little bits. You like these kind of peppers, don't you? Yeah, they're your kind of thing, aren't they? You just eat them raw, don't you?
Yeah, well,
yeah.
It's just they're quite sweet. I like
yeah. They're not, they look like chilies, but they're not.
Yeah.
They're just, you know, they're quite sweet, really, to be honest. And then all I'm going to do is just nick out the core of the centre, and I'm popping them in whole. Because I think with this pasta dish, you want to see what you're eating. You want big pieces. You don't want everything to be just the same size, every mouthful the same. I just think that's a boring pasta dish. This will make it more interesting.
Can you use like this normal peppers?
Yeah, certainly. Like if you can't get these kind of peppers, just use normal salad peppers, Mediterranean peppers, and you can even get the tinned ones as well, which you don't have to cook for as long because they're already char grilled and preserved. So that can go into there. Last one. Okay, so let's get these bits of pepper out the way. Now, if you have any questions about today's recipes, please do post them in the comments below, and I will endeavour to answer them as best I can for you. We get loads of questions when the show's on, which is brilliant, so thank you for chatting to me. I really enjoy it. It's always great to hear what people are doing, what they're cooking, what they think of our recipes, so thank you for that. Now, I've got some chilli here, just to give a little bit of warmth. I'm actually going to take half of it. I'm going to put that in my Nduja, all right? That's optional. The other half, we're going to pop into there. Okay, now, parsley. I'm just going to take the stalks off, get rid of those, and then I've got a little bit of stalk left here. I'm actually going to pop that in with my peppers. Once we hit the herb, we're going to stop. There we go. So that is going to go in there. And because the stalk's kind of much more robust than the herb, we're going to get more flavour in there, okay? Right. So let's have a little stir around. Pip is circling the kitchen at the moment as we speak. She can obviously smell things. Ooh, that smell now has taken on a whole new dynamic, hasn't it? The minute that parsley's hit the pan, it's now just, oh, smelling good, that. Really good. Right, let's get on with our Nduja. So, clove of garlic. There we go. We've got our little bit of red chilli that's left over. That can go over there. Now, when you go to the supermarkets or the delis or wherever you might buy your chorizo, you get two different types. You get a hot, sort of spicy, picante chorizo, or you get the smoked sweet one, okay? So this isn't a hot one. This is a sort of smoked sweeter one. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the skin away. So cut down the chorizo there, and then we're just going to peel it, all right? Because it's perfectly edible, but I want to blend it so it's nice and smooth. So I want to take this skin away and get rid of it. So you can see it's coming away in pieces, but it's coming away. Do you have anything like this in Spain? Like,
Chorizo.
would you, no, I know you have chorizo. Would you ever blend it up to a sauce or anything?
Oh, we got the sobrasada that we have shown already.
Is that the one that you brought home from Spain last time? Yeah.
It's really similar.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's typical from Mallorca, and it's kind of the same thing you're going to make. It's just, I'm not sure if it's exactly the same process to make it, but yeah, probably sobrasada will be the closest.
Right, yeah.
The same.
There's a lot of similarities, isn't there? You just do sort of different.
Yeah.
You use your own. Ingredients.
Mediterranean countries, obviously.
Yeah. Okay, so we will just peel this. Okay, so we'll just get the last of this skin off here, and then we are ready to blend. Now, if you want to enter this week's competition, Masterclass have said I can give away another one of these amazing 4.5 litre shallow pans. This is the mint green colour, one of 3 for this year. So we've got the lavender, we've got hunter green, and we've got the mint green. If you fancy winning one of these, please like, comment, and share this video with your friends and family on Facebook. That will automatically enter you into the competition. I will choose a random winner next week, and I will message you direct and let you know you've won. Send us your address, and the lovely people at Masterclass will ship one of these bad boys out to you, and you can get cooking with them. They're incredible. They're cast aluminium, they're super lightweight, and they perform brilliantly. Okay, so back to cooking. So let's take our chorizo, and that can go into our food processor. Can you see the food processor all right, Carlos? I've just kept it to one side. Okay, so I've got my chorizo in here, I've got garlic, and I've got chili, okay? I'm going to add my flat leaf parsley, say half of it. I'll use the other half later. And then let's put a good glug of extra virgin olive oil, and that'll kind of loosen it out, okay? And then we will blend it. Let's see where we get to. Hold on tight. A little bit more oil. Okay, so the chorizo has blended down with some olive oil, garlic, chili, and a little bit of parsley. What I'm going to add for a little bit of balance is a touch of red wine vinegar, which I think will be absolutely delicious. It's all rich in here, lots of rich flavours, and I think it just needs a little bit of a balance. So, tablespoon of red wine vinegar. You could use white wine if you wanted to, not a problem at all. And then just to bind everything together, I've got a little piece of bread here, and this will sort of soak in, you see. So this is a little bit of focaccia bread that I had left over from the weekend. It could be any kind of bread. It's just about sucking the moisture together and making like a paste almost. Okay, let's pop that in. Sounds better. Sounds calmer. It was all clunking around at the beginning and making lots of noise. Now it's just blending a little. It's a nicer sound, isn't it, Carlos? I'm feeling better about it. Okay, let's get rid of that. Right. Let's have a little taste of this. You want to have a little taste of this, Carlos?
What do you think? Always.
Always, always. Mmm. Ooh. Do you know what? The vinegar makes all the difference. Nice. Like that? Touch more olive oil, just to give it a bit smoother. Not a lot, just a little bit. You eat that all day, couldn't you? He's getting excited now. He's forgotten about the edit. He's after this.
You get the chorizo and the sweetness, and then after a second you
Bit
get
of
the
warmth.
kick.
That vinegar, I think the vinegar makes all the difference. Really does. Okay. It's not kind of, Italians would say it's not Nduja, and it's not. But it is kind of inspired by, and it's not always that easy to get hold of that Nduja. So, right, let's have a little look at our peppers. So, these are looking nice. My kitchen is smelling good. Okay. Right, so that is just cooking away nicely. I am just getting ready to finish off now, so chop up the remaining parsley. It's just going to give a little bit of freshness. Got some olives. We might finish with a bit of Parmesan yet. Okay, right, so while all this is coming together, I just wanted to say, if you wouldn't mind, please going to YouTube and searching out our new YouTube channel, Peter Sidwell. That is where we are archiving all our recipes, and it would be amazing. I would be so appreciative if you wouldn't mind subscribing and hitting the notification bell, and that would really help us grow the audience both on YouTube and on Facebook. We also go Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn as well, but it's really easy to navigate YouTube. It's almost becoming easy to watch on normal TVs as well. So if you want to watch more of our episodes, please go to YouTube and have a look over there. Now, in with some olives. I think that's just going to break it up nicely. And then let's grab some of our pasta sauce. So this is our Nduja. Good news is there's loads left for spreading on bread, putting in the fridge. Carlos can eat while he's working. All good. Makes your pizzas really, really good. Instead of tomato sauce, try adding a little bit of that. Be good. Right, so our pasta is ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a spoon like this. I want to be able to, it's quite glutinous and quite starchy, this pasta. So I want to really sort of lift it out of that water and get it into the pasta, okay? What we don't want to do is overcook it because it becomes a bit starchy. So it's very much the 9-minute rule, okay? If you can't get orzo, just use normal pasta, Or if you want to use rice, you could use rice. No problem at all. Orzo is pretty easy to get hold of these days. Okay, so our pasta is in. Let's give this a mix. I'm just going to grab my tea towel, which I've popped down somewhere. Here it is. We see this all right, Carlos?
Yep.
Okay, let's give it a stir. Just give it a stir together until you start to see all those lovely ingredients. Look at that. Oh, smells good. Do you think you might cook this one, Carlos?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I'm not sure with orzo. Just probably try with normal, just like different kind of pasta.
Yeah?
But yeah, just maybe to please the family.
Right, in with our parsley. And then I'm going to add just a touch of Parmesan because I just think Parmesan makes things good. Okay? Grate it straight in. There we go. You can put as much or as little in as you like. There we go. Look at that. Whoa. Time for a taste. Guys at Masterclass, they said, Pete, taste things more on camera. We like that. I was like, okay, I can do that. No problem. That's beautiful. I'm actually just going to season it up with a little bit of salt, not a lot. Just needs a little bit just to bring it up. Just to bring out those flavours. And there we go. Right. Let's grab some of this. Feel like Carlos might want to try this one. So, beautiful flavours. The peppers are not overcooked. They've still got a little bit of bite in them. So you're going to get some texture. Okay. I'm guessing it's sort of, with it being southern Italian, northern Italy they make risotto, they have lots of arborio rice and things like that. In the south they don't have that rice, so I'm guessing this is why they do it this way. They tend to make it this way rather than with risotto rice. They're very sort of regionalised. They will only make with what they've got personally. So on with a little bit of Parmesan. And there you go. That is how to make the most delicious pasta dish. Your own homemade Nduja-inspired pasta sauce with orzo, sweet peppers and olives. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you cook this dish. If you do, let me know how you get on. Right now it is time to bake. I've got this delicious treacle and raisin bread recipe for you. It's perfect with cheese. I love it with an amazing brie, and I've actually got one today. Now, I've been out down to the farmer's market in Keswick and I've bought Eden Valley Brie. So the Eden Valley is in Penrith, just around the back as you go towards Salkeld and Little Salkeld and out towards the hills, Alston, that sort of way. That's Eden Valley, and they've got this beautiful brie. They also do an amazing goat's cheese brie, which is called Nanny McBrie, which is really good. This bread is delicious with brie, okay? So it's enriched with some butter and some treacle and the raisins. Forget your crackers and your oatcakes. Serve cheese with this, it's amazing. So it starts with our raisins. So I've just been doing some work with California raisins, so I've got some really good ones. And we're just going to soak them in some water and some treacle. So first in with some hot water. Okay, now if you want the recipe for the exact measurements, scan the QR code on the bottom and that will take you to masterclass.co website. Masterclass are my sponsors and they help me do the show every week. So they've got some amazing kitchen equipment. I've been working with them for about 5 years now, testing out all the gear. It's brilliant. And I'll tell you, some amazing products that really do help cooking, make it so much easier when you've got proper kit. So I've dipped my spoon in the hot boiling water for this reason. So once you've done that, your treacle will just drop off the spoon really easily. Okay, now if you can't get treacle like this, and I know some of you are literally the other side of the world, so firstly, thank you for watching. It's a Pleasure to have you here. Secondly, use molasses, okay? So you want a really dark molasses treacle, and that will give you that sort of really deep, dark flavour, okay? So mix all that together and sort of let it stand. I would let it stand for sort of 10 minutes, and the raisins will just sort of drink and swell up all the liquid, and you've got these incredible deep dark flavours going on there. So while that's happening, I've got 500 grams of strong bread flour, I've got 10 grams of yeast and 10 grams of salt. I've just done that the wrong way around, but never mind. I've done my yeast on that side and salt on that side. I always keep them separate because I was always taught that salt will kill yeast. So as a habit, I just put them on opposite sides. Then once you blend them into the flour, it's okay then, you've diluted them, but it's direct contact. Okay, so they're blended in. And then I've got my butter. You could use margarine as well. To be honest, the intense flavour of the treacle and the raisins, you're going to lose the flavour of the butter. So I wouldn't necessarily worry too much if you're using like a spreadable margarine that you put on your bread. That's okay too. Okay, so I'm just scrunching and pressing the butter into the flour. What this will do is give us a much softer bake. So when you add fat to bread, it means the bake is much softer. So obviously a baguette has no fat in it, that's why it's really crispy. Whereas I think you want a softer crumb for this. So once that is all blended in, we will make a little well in the middle. And then I'm going to take my treacle soaked raisins. Now they've cooled down a little bit, but I've got some extra cold water here. So in total, I think you want 300 mils of liquid. Okay, and once that is sort of blood temperature, so it's warm, it's not hot, we can add it in. If you add it in too hot, it will kill the yeast. So be patient. And then just roll your hand around the bowl. Now I'm using Masterclass Space Saver mixing bowls here, and I get a handle, which is really good for mixing bread. And just mix around until you end up with a ball of dough on your hand, and the bowl is relatively clean of the mixture. I think you like this, Carlos. I know you like the cheese, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah? Right, transfer to the worktop. Move that out of the way for now. And then we're going to mix and knead our bread. Now, I'm left-handed, so I'm going to hold my bread with my right, and I'm going to push it away with my left, and then bring it back over itself. All right? And when you begin, it won't want to stretch much because we haven't developed the gluten yet. But the more we knead this bread, the more stretchier and glutinous the dough will become. Now, you could easily put this in a machine if you wanted to. You know, put the dough mixer, sort of the dough hook on it, and just knead away, let it go for 10 minutes, and it'll do all its work for you. If you've got a bread maker tucked away in the cupboard that you don't use, bring it out and let it do the work for you. Just put it on the pizza setting, so it'll just mix the dough for you. And then all the hard work is done for you. But if you're anything like me, you quite like kneading dough and just working it and kneading it and stretching it. There's something very relaxing about making bread dough. It is. It's just a nice thing to do. Don't get me wrong, when you're sort of mixing 20 kilos of the stuff, it's not relaxing. But one batch is lovely. And to be honest, I would always recommend doubling up this batch. Put it in the freezer because it'll freeze perfectly. You can do it into little rolls. You can do it into loaves. It freezes really well. And then when you've got, you know, some nice cheeses in the fridge or you've got some friends coming round and you just think, do you know what, we're just going to have a deli dinner. I like a deli dinner. Get a big chopping board out, lots of cheeses, meats, pickles, chutneys. I do like a deli dinner. All right, or a ploughman's. All good stuff. It's actually really nice for breakfast, this bread as well. It's toasted with a bit of marmalade. It's good. Right, so my raisins are flying everywhere. Right, so my dough is kneaded together now. I've given it 10 minutes and you can kind of see that it's changed now. It's got a sort of strength to the dough. That's because we've developed the gluten. And all I'm doing now is just tucking it under itself so that it's a nice ball. And we're going to return this now to the mixing bowl. So we'll pop that back in there and we're going to leave this for an hour to prove, and it will double in size, okay? Now, the warmer the kitchen, the quicker the prove, okay? So if you put it in the airing cupboard, yes, it will prove really quickly, but I wouldn't recommend putting it in the airing cupboard. If you can let it prove slowly for an hour, it'll be much better. You'll have a better developed flavour than if you accelerate it, okay? So we'll just put that to one side. And in good Blue Peter fashion, here is one I made earlier, okay? So, it's changed a bit, hasn't it? It's doubled in size. So I'm going to add a little bit of flour and then I'm just going to work my hand around the edges so that the dough will come out, okay? And then we'll just flip it over. And there we go. That is our proved dough. And you can kind of see, can you see that, Carlos? That is gluten that has developed, okay? That stretch suggests to me that the gluten has been developed. And all I need to do now is just stretch the bread out and turn it over on itself. And that creates lovely little air pockets, okay? So don't beat the life out of this bread. Treat it really gently, okay? Stretch it out and turn it over on itself. And the reason why we're doing that is so that we have a nice crown on the top. I want strong crown along the top, and then I'll get a lovely bloom and I'll get a really nice even prove. So just take the dough and stretch it out, okay? Give it a little waggle and then fold it over into the center. And what that's doing is creating an air pocket in the center, okay? And then we'll do the same there. And then we'll do the same here. And final one at the back. And then we're going to turn the dough over. And now you can see we've got a really strong top to the bread, which means when it proves, you're just going to get this lovely bloom, as opposed to sort of big cracks and things like that in there. So we're just trying to make sure that the strength of the dough is on the top and the weakest part is there on the bottom. Okay, so we'll just turn that. So now we've got a nice strong top. Now another little tip for you, when you're putting raisins in, if there are any little random ones poking out, get rid of them because they will burn and go really bitter. Okay, so all I'm doing is carefully just pulling those ones out. Because of the sugar content on them, they will just burn. But if they're inside the dough, they'll be perfectly all right. So now I've got rid of those, I'm going to tuck them underneath and then they'll be safe and they won't burn, okay? So, little touch of flour on the bottom of your baking tray, or loaf tin, should I say? And then let's just lift that, pop it in there, and we're going to leave that to prove and double in size. Once it's doubled in size, it is ready to bake in a preheated oven. Now, normally bread would be baked at like 200, 210, but because of the high sugar content from the treacle, we need to reduce the temperature and let it have a long, slow bake rather than an instant pop of heat. So we're going to bake this at 180 degrees. It's probably going to take about 45 minutes to bake. Okay, the treacle bread has been in the oven for 45 minutes. It is smelling awesome. Okay, so look, you see how we got that lovely strong crown on the top? That means we get a lovely, nice, even bake, okay? And because we use Masterclass non-stick bakeware, things just drop out that easy, all right? It is that easy. When you have the right kit to do the right job, cooking and baking's easy, all right? Now, this is the best bit, Carlos. You're gonna like this. Lovely local brie, room temperature. So it's gonna be nice and, yeah, it's been a good day today, hasn't it, Carlos, eating wise? It's been a good day. Right, okay. Let's open this cheese up. Now, perfect. I mean, if you don't like brie, a really good cheddar, a Lancashire or a Wensleydale would be beautiful with this. You might be a Cheshire cheese person, who knows, but a nice local ripe brie. Right, can we see this, Carlos?
Absolutely.
The viewers want to see this, all right? Am I cutting towards that camera, am I? Right. Warm bread out of the oven. That's really wicked, isn't it? Look at that. Can you see the steam coming out of there? Warm bread. What is not to love? Right, do you want to try some of this, Carlos?
Did I ever say no?
One day you might say no to me.
Well,
Right. Oh, look at that. Look at that cheese there. I'm gonna treat you, Carlos.
thank you.
Let's go 2. Yeah? Oh. This is just terrible, this, isn't it? Right. I'm going to pass that to you. You need to get a nice frame on me because you're not going to be doing any editing now because I'm going to taste this and tell you how blooming lovely it is. Mmm. 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 So good. The raisins are just so unctuous and it's just really good.
Speechless. Speechless.
Make this bread. Alright? Eat cheese with it. It's delicious. If you want the recipe, scan the QR code below. It will take you to masterclass.co. It will give you the recipe to make this beauty of a loaf of bread. Go bake it. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.